Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. I am doing something very different today than what I normally do. Normally you either see me out riding dirt bikes or you see me doing reviews on Toyota vehicles. I've done some reviews on tires and what have you. But today I want to kind of talk about my simulator setup. Real quick backstory. I just recently got back into golf, and actually I say this last summer. So I've been playing for, I don't know, I guess off and on, probably played 5 or 6 rounds this summer, and here it is, it's first week in March. So anyway, bought a new set of clubs, had been going to the driving range, tried to get out there once a week, working on my chipping and my putting, and I was seeing some results, but I wasn't seeing a lot. So I wanted something that I could do more so than having to wait until the weekend to go to the driving range, or weather permitting or what have you. So I went out and I bought a Rapsodo MLM. I used that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and decided that I wanted to try to get something that I could actually do from home. So the MLM won't work indoors, but the MLM 2 Pro will. And so that was the setup that I got. So we're going to talk about a couple different things here. As I mentioned, we are using the MLM 2 Pro. I've got it set up here in my garage. What you actually need for space, you need about 14.5 feet. And I currently have probably somewhere around 8 feet from the pad, as you see here. And then the MLM 2 Pro is back there, and I probably have 6.5 feet back there. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've done for the setup and kind of break down some pricing for you. And I'll put that up on the screen so that you can see it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a golf mat. Now you see I have 2 of them here. I tried the first one, was called a KBAM Premium Dual Turf. There was some benefits to that one. Obviously you could use it like if you were hitting out of the rough, but there is a big downfall, and I'll go over that here in just a second. The price on that one is $92.89, so $92.89. Now, here's the downfall. So your tee setup, now you can actually set it up here in the rough, but the problem is when you tee it up and you're using your driver, a lot of times it's going across the rough or across that dual turf, and probably slows down your swing speed a little bit. So that was one thing I didn't like. If I tried to use these lines, because there's 3 different settings here, I was almost standing off of the back of the mat to be able to try to swing it. So I ended up buying this mat here. Now this one is called Golf Mat ADD Plus. It's a 5.5 foot by 4 foot. And you can either do it for right or left-handed users. And that one gives me plenty of room. I actually have it set up in the center there, but I could use that forward one for a lower ball stance too. But have it set up here in the middle, and that one has worked out really well. Obviously, if I wanted to practice hitting out of the rough, I can switch the place of the mats and use the other one. So if it was me, if I was only buying one mat to use, I would buy the second one here, this 5.5 foot by 4 foot. Don't waste your money on the premium turf unless you just want to practice hitting out of the rough all the time, because like I said, it won't give you enough room unless you're placing your ball in between those 2 white lines to be able to tee off. So the next thing is it's called Go Sports Range Cage. It's a 10 foot by 8 foot cage. It's actually, I think, 10 feet 6 inches wide. It's about 5.5 feet deep, and it is 8 feet tall. This is plenty big enough using this simulator here to be able to catch everything that you hit at it. I've not had anything that sprayed out and hit any walls or anything like that. Now, one of the things that you do want to do is you want to leave about 1.5 feet distance between the back of the net and the wall or door, whichever you have it up against. I did go on ahead and put in this kind of all-weather turf here, and so I spent on the range cage I spent $299. Now I got all these things through Amazon with the exception of this carpeting that I've got here that looks like AstroTurf, and that I just bought at my local hardware store. I actually got it from Jerry's here, and I know Jerry's is not everywhere, but it's very similar to Home Depot or Lowe's. Gotta wake the simulator back up. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is the ViewSonic. So this is a PX701 4K. It's 3200 lumens. This one, and here's something to keep in mind. If you're setting up, maybe you're going to do it overhead, or maybe you're going to do it down below, however you want to set it up, make sure you're getting the right type of projector. You don't want to get a long throw projector and try to place it up here because it won't enlarge your viewing area large enough to be able to see it. This, I believe, is a long throw projector. Right now it's shooting, it's widening, you know, actually what you're seeing here is the target range, but if I was to put it on the golf course, it will fill up the whole screen there. But it has to be about 14 feet away before it be able to get to that full 8 feet viewing area there. So keep that in mind. Make sure you get the right projector. There is some cheaper projectors out there, and before you tell you the price on this one, I've seen some for, you know, as low as $200. What you get with that is you get like a 600 to 800 lumens, and that is definitely not going to be bright enough for what you're wanting to do. Now, depending on, like, if you're playing a golf course where, you know, everything is, there's a big contrast from, you know, what you see for the green and what you see for trees and what have you, then, you know, you might be able to get away with a lot less than the 3200 lumens. But for everything I've done here and all the research that I did before I bought it, I think that the 3200 lumens was a good, and, you know, it should be probably, you know, 3000 and above. The price on the ViewSonic PX701 was $899. And I know that's a huge chunk of money for something you're just putting in your garage. But, you know, keep in mind, you can use this for more things. You can actually, you know, set it up for outside viewing if you wanted to. And that was the other thing too. I didn't know if I would ever take this cage outside, but they say that, you know, in the daylight, you can actually still use that and still see it. So, all right, Rapsodo MLM 2 Pro. All these pricing that I'm giving you, they are today's pricing. But it was the same price when I paid for it for 2 months ago, but it's $699. With that, you get a premium, there's a premium subscription. You get the first year for free. After that, it's $199 for the next year or every year thereafter, unless you pay the $500 up front, and then you get it unlimited. So keep that in mind. That kind of takes care of the things that I purchased. So altogether, I have spent $255, or if you got the premium dual turf, it was like $3 more, so it'd be $2,058 altogether. The other thing that you have to do is the Rapsodo golf balls. So they have a printed, I guess, you know, there's a pattern there that it reads the golf balls off of. I've tried just a plain golf ball, and it will read distance because that works off of radar, but then it will not read spin axis. And you can see there, I just hit a ball there, I sliced it, and you can see the spin axis at 20.9. And so the nice thing about this is that it will definitely show you if you're hitting a slice or if you're hitting a draw. It gives you your apex, smash factor, ball speed, and you can actually set up many different things to look at, but you actually have to physically go in there. But this is how many you can see. You can see what, 7, 8 across the bottom of the screen there. And what you're looking at right now, this is the target range. So I can go in there and pick out, like this one is set at 99 yards. I can go in there and pick one for, I think, 136 if I wanted to. One's, I think, 155. But you can set up the specific pin, and it's based on a specific green that you see there. So anyway, that's the target range. Now you can do a regular golf range, and you can set up like a target area out there. So if you were hitting a driver, you can set it up where you're 250 yards out, or 300, whatever you wanted to hit at, and hit towards that, and it will show you not only your distance, it will show you ball speed, club speed, everything that you can see there at the bottom. It still shows you the same thing, but it obviously doesn't have a bunch of greens out there. And then you have, I think there's 33,000 courses. Now, Turn this back on. The golf courses, I picked up most of the local golf courses and I played them, and obviously it looks very, I'm going to say dot matrix, so to speak. It's not extremely detailed. Yes, you can kind of make out the hole when you're playing it compared to the local course, but it really doesn't look anything like the golf course itself. So, is this a toy? Well, yes and no. When you're playing a golf course, it kind of seems very animated that way, but you still get all of your metrics that you're looking for. And so I can just kind of tell you, just from me getting back into it, they also have what they call combines in here. And so combines, you hit 24 shots, you hit one with like a lob wedge. I think it's based at 50 yards. Another one is like 146. And then the last one is a driver. And so it measures all three of those things. And it's 24 shots total. And then it will generate basically a metric of everything that you've done. And then it will assign you what it thinks should be your normal handicap. And so when I first started, I started off like a 26 handicap. Then it went down to a 22. And this last week when I did, it was down to just under 16. It's like 15.9. So am I seeing results? Absolutely. Is it worth $2,000? I guess it depends on how much you're going to use it. I think for me personally, I've definitely seen the benefit, and I definitely see a reason that I still think is a good investment. I wanted to get back into golf. I had played golf many, many years ago, but I kind of got into riding dirt bikes, and that's kind of been my passion for like the last 8 years. But all my buddies still play golf, and so I thought it'd be nice to get back into it. The other thing here is that I live in Oregon, and because I do, we have fire season, and the fire season keeps us out of riding in the woods about 2 months out of the year. And that's prime time to be out there playing golf. And so that's kind of one of the reasons I've got back into it. But like I said, I wanted to find something that would really kind of get me back started playing golf again, but be able to help me improve without having to try to go to the driving range and then not being able to get there before they close, or only go on certain days when it's my day off, when I'd really rather be out there playing golf. What I started to talk about a while ago is I talked about these golf balls. So these are the Callaway RPT golf balls. Now, I have tried to use, I don't know if I still have them or not. No, I think I tossed them. I tried to use, premium golf balls, and then I bought the little stencil that goes on them where you could actually, make your own dots. The problem with that, this is a white screen. And so I tried it. I tried to use like a professional grade paint, not a marker, thinking that maybe that would help. And unfortunately, it's still, I only hit it twice, and it put 2 marks on there, one for each ball that I hit. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. And so I got to thinking about it a little bit. And I'm like, well, these are, if I remember right, they were like $75 a dozen. It might be like $69 when you get them through Rapsodo. But they're like $69 a dozen, and that seems like a lot of money. But I have used this for 2 months. I'm using the same thing. It came with 3 balls. I added 2 more balls to it, so I wouldn't have to, go forward and back all the time trying to get the retrieve the ball rather, so that I could hit it again. But anyway, as I was saying, I've used these the whole time, and I have probably hit, I don't know, I would say somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 shots. I've used it quite a bit. And I'll use it at least a couple times a week, and then I'll like play a golf course. So I probably hit around 100 shots at a time. But yeah, I would say, like I said, at least 1,000 to 1,500 shots. But anyway, the golf balls are actually holding up pretty well. You can see a few areas where they're chipped off. Like here, you can see a little bit coming off, but they're still holding up pretty well. And, I can see these, using this set for probably, 5 to 6 months. So when you look at it that way and you're able to use them over and over again, that's not that bad. Now, using a premium ball, even if you were able to use a stencil, you still have the golf balls, and then the golf balls are only going to last. What do they last when you go to a golf course? If you're able to save them, you know, you probably get 4 or 5 rounds out of them, and then they're all scuffed up. So anyway, those are just a couple of things that I've encountered so far as starting this. But like I mentioned, altogether $2,055. And I'm going to start making some videos where you can actually see some of the target range. I'll do a combine, play a few courses so you can see what to expect. And the biggest thing that I have gotten from this is the instant feedback. So for instance, if I'm hitting a driver and for whatever reason I'm slicing the ball, I can go back and I can look at the impact. And in my next video, I'll actually share that video. I'll share the screen, what you see from the MLM2 Pro. I'll go ahead and share that on the screen for you. But you can see your instant feedback. So you get what they call impact vision, and then you also get shot replay. And so shot replay, you can go back and slow down as slow as you want to. You can actually physically move it with your finger to slow it down almost to a complete stop, and then kind of forward just a little bit at a time. But then the same thing with the shot vision, or impact vision, excuse me. So impact vision shows you the club head where it's hitting the ball at. One of the things I didn't realize is that, first off, my swing pattern was completely off, and that's why I had a tendency to slice a lot of my driver. And so when I could see that, they changed my swing pattern so it wasn't coming over the top and it was more inside out. Then that eliminated my slice. And so that I probably couldn't have figured that out, and I don't know, I would have spent a lot of time out at the driving range trying to figure that out. But I was able to do that through this, through the instant feedback that I got. And then the other thing is that based on my swing pattern when I changed it, normally how I would set up to the golf ball, especially with my driver, I had to pull it back away from the ball. And so what I mean is like for instance, if you were to look at the ball here, and let's say the club head was, you know, right up where you centered the club head right there on the center of the ball, what I found was I needed to put the front of my club head right out here, just behind the ball. And that actually enabled me to hit the center of the club face by doing so. So those are things that I wouldn't have figured out at the range, not having this instant feedback. And these are reasons that you may want to go ahead and spend the money to get that. So I know this has probably been a long video and I'm tired of rambling here, and I apologize for rambling to you. But anyway, hopefully you guys will get a little something out of this. And like I said, in the future, I'll go ahead and make some more videos that will maybe help you understand how it works a little bit better. Thanks for watching.